Alright, what's up guys? I'm going to show my latest zyx-s setup. Finally got the 3S Lynx 1102 motor. I switched out the Castle 10 for a Turnigy Plus 12 amp. It's flash with BL Heli, version 10 point whatever. Plush has got a 2 amp 5 volt BEC, still running the step down diode on the BEC lead to get the voltage down to 4.3 volts for the stock servos. You can see I've moved the controller from the rear to the front. I got tired of seeing the wires hanging out of the back. It was really messy, and so I relocated it to the front, so the conversion is almost invisible when you have the canopy on. You really can't see it other than the receiver hanging out of the back. The conversion is almost invisible. See, I've got these are E-Flight ultralight servo leads that are direct soldered to the servo boards and plugged into the controller there. You should be able to see this. This is a little piece of plastic mount I made. It's wedged in on top of the controller with a piece of 4011 double-sided tape. There's one of my 3S batteries charged. On the bottom, I pretty much covered everywhere that the controller would touch the frame. I've just covered with a piece of 4011 double-sided tape without removing the red backing, so I can slide it in and out. It's wedged in there really well. Once you put in the landing gear, it's nice and snug. Really hard to move back and forth, but I went ahead and made a little carbon stop here that contacts the top of my little mount here to keep it from sliding back too far. Alright, sorry guys, I had to cover up the prototype Lynx servo. I can tell you we're getting closer. Waiting on the new sample. This one worked really well on the 3-in-1 board. It runs at 333 Hertz. So it runs really well. See my little homemade carbon push rod I made. Lynx is coming out with one that we'll be able to sell with the rotary servo. Anyway, we'll skip on past that. As far as the 3S motor, it's a 5800 kV motor, 5800 kV, 150 watt motor. The batteries that I'm running, here's a homemade 3S battery that I made out of the stock 2S E-Flight 300 packs. I had a couple of balance leads laying around and I just worked them up. Here's one I bought off eBay. I'm not going to show you what brand because the place I bought it only has 3 more in stock and I want to buy them all, so I'm not going to show you what they are. But they're 360 milliamp 30C batteries. I set my timer for 4 minutes. 4 minutes of moderate to hard flight. Cells come down at 3.79 to 3.8 volts per cell. I'm replenishing about 280 to 290 milliamps in each pack. So that's about 96% of the 300, but only 80% of the 360 pack. So it looks like 360 is going to be the way to go. Now also with these are longer and flatter, so it's easy to put the canopy on. With my homemade 300 packs, they're a little too thick. It's kind of hard to get the canopy on. Now you can see the 1102 3S motor is 3 millimeters longer than the 2S motor. It's exactly the same diameter. So in order for my batteries to clear the motor, because to get good CG, you need to get the battery pretty close to the elevator servo. Now, so I added 2 little pieces of carbon fiber strips here. They're about 2 millimeters thick, millimeter wide, and however long they need to be here. Clears the motor. CG is great. But again, the canopy is hard to put on. With these, with the 360s, which are longer and flatter, they fit on there a lot easier. Canopy goes on perfectly, and CG is still excellent. Obviously, should be no surprise that the 3S motor has a lot of balls. Alright, so there's plenty of power. With the gearing I'm using 9-tooth pinion and the stock main gear, which is 111 teeth. That gives me, at 100% throttle, that gives me about 5,200, 5,300 RPMs. on my tack, I'm showing 52 to 54, and the accuracy is probably within 100 RPMs or so. So we can settle on about 5,200 RPMs. According to the head speed tack, or the head speed calculator, getting 5,220 RPMs. So that's pretty. It's pretty accurate. It feels. It's not uncivilized. It feels really good in the air. It's not crazy high RPMs. It still has that nice floaty feel, but with all the extra weight of all the metal parts and everything I've added here, the disc loading is pretty high. But you only feel that on real hard, say pitch bumps. But who really does pitch pumps during flight? So this thing has all the power that anybody should need. With this gearing, civilized RPM, flies really well. It's not twitchy or crazy high like that with the 9-tooth pinion. With a 10-tooth pinion, which I'm going to try at some point, we'll get, according to the calculator, get 5,800 RPMs. I'll probably try that governed down to about 5,000. So far, it doesn't seem like this is going to need a governor. The 3S motor has enough to punch out of anything that I've been able to put it through. So yeah, it's everything I expected to be. Also with the stretch kit coming this week. It'll be released this week. It's 150 millimeter main blades. That's going to take care of that heavy disc loading that you experienced with the heavier battery, all metal upgrades, all that. So I have a feeling that's going to be the real ticket, the real ticket for a 3S setup. The EOX 1102 3S motor, it has a tapered shaft. It's a 2mm shaft, and it's tapered down to 1.5 for the pinion. So that should prove to be an extremely reliable motor. It runs just as smooth as the 1101, but it has a very menacing sound. Very, very pleasing to the ears. Okay. Alright, we'll give you guys a little taste of what the motor sounds like. It's dark outside, or maybe I'd record a flight video. Alright, here's the settings that I'm using for the zyx-s. Every setup is going to be different. I'm running a Lynx DFC system, Pro Swash, TBS-R system just released, full metal tail, 3S motor. That's it. Now you can notice that my roll or aileron gains are about 10 points higher than my pitch or elevator gains. So that's something to keep in mind when you're trying to tune your gyro. You can run a lot higher aileron gain, which is going to improve the stability a lot in the aileron. Because what I first noticed is just some inconsistency in the roll axis in a hover. Right now it runs as stable or more stable than the AS3X. So I always crank up the agility to 60 to max, and I use my DRs if I need to lower it down, which I don't. So roll gain, aileron axis is 75, pitch gain, elevator axis is 65. I'm running 40% gain in zyx and about 35% TX gain in heading hold mode. Now as far as frequency, I'm running the third option in the servo setup menu, which is 333 Hertz for the tail and 111 Hertz for the cyclic servos. That's the highest frequency you can go while still maintaining the center pulse of 1520. That made a huge difference on how well this thing behaved in the air. I was able to take the gain up, the cyclic gains, I was able to take those up from around 30 to 35 up to the 65-75 range. Made a huge difference in the way it flies. Here, I'll go ahead and we'll go to the advanced menu here. Now this is, as far as the advanced menu, this is the basic 3D soft preset in the basic menu. The only thing that I've changed is I removed all D gain from the menu, and I tweak by going up 1 point at a time here. You can see this is, I've done nothing else to it. It flies great. Stops are excellent, precise, puros are smooth, flat. So 3D soft with just some main gain adjustments, which is going to be dependent on your setup. And I would suggest to start by taking all the D gain out of the cyclic and the tail to start your tuning. Raise 1 point at a time until it's perfect. All right, that's about all I can think of. This is zyx-s 130 version. I don't know, 50. I've lost count. But every time I think that I'm done with it, there's always something else to change. But keep you posted on any relevant changes here. Thanks for watching, guys.